Hello and namaste. This is not Preeti Adhikari because today we have turned the table on our beloved host Preeti Di and trying to get to learn about her journey, her stories, and what made her start the Great Nepali Diaspora. So first of all, thank you so much, Preeti Di, and welcome to your own show where you're on the other side this time.
Thank you, Subigya. Thank you so much for inviting me, Aza, and more than anything else for being a part of this. And Aza, हामी record गर्दा it's Subigya's birthday, so happy birthday
Thank
to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ani, Preeti, yes, so before we get into you, my name is Subigya. I am a video producer professionally. Ani, I've also been helping the Great Nepali Diaspora with the other fabulous team that we have doing podcasts and social media. And it's just been a pleasure kind of working with the Great Nepali Diaspora and your TGND Beats podcast. But having said that, let's dive in. Preeti, would love to know about where your journey began. How was things? When did you move to US first? And how did that come about?
Sure. धेरै भयो US move गरेर. It's been on and off different usma. I actually came to the US undergrad to Tennessee of all places. So big cultural shock. It was with the South, ekdamai football culture भएको place, completely different and so on. And one sort of memory I have from that is Tennesseeको football colors is orange. So everybody, wears orange. And especially growing up, मैले चाहिँ orange मान्छेले देखेको चाहिँ it was all monks and, all of it, right? I don't remember wearing orange growing up. So college-मा आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ especially football games-मा चाहिँ it was like crazy. Everybody's like a sea of orange, होइन? अनि I remember the first game-मा चाहिँ I chose not to wear orange. I was like, okay, the color pani कसले लाउँछ भनेर हैन. अनि I remember standing out like एकदमै sore thumb भन्छ नि. Like imagine I think I was wearing green or something and everybody else that I could think of, thousands of people wearing orange. अनि it was like such a weird sort of thing that I remember त्यो सिद्धिने बित्तिकै game सिद्धिने बित्तिकै going somewhere and getting an orange t-shirt just to fit in.
Just to fit in.
Exactly. That good experience. And for me, I think US ko, undergrad ma aउँदाखेरि one big thing I remember is for the first time in my life, feeling like, मैले hard work गरे भने that I'm going to get the results. It wouldn't matter, मेरो family background or anything like that. It was just hard work would get results. Feeling that for the first time was, I think, exciting.
Oh, that's 100%. That's very interesting because I think the American dream, which is a general understanding, I think that thought is definitely part of it. Where if you do enough hard work in this country, there are less obstacles more than anything else. Tennessee undergrad, especially like what was next after the orange years in Tennessee?
Sure. So Tennessee, but we actually went back to Nepal and got married, worked there for 5 years, went to Canada for my master's MBA, मेरो husband र म, then moved to Singapore, worked there for 5 years. Only briefly went back to Nepal again, 1 year जस्तो. Only then came back to the US. So it's been all over the world, a lot of different industries, a lot of different career paths. But so 2015, after the earthquakes in Nepal, I've been in the US.
Hey, okay. How has been? I'm sure it's been very difficult because moving from one place to other and like generally uprooting your life and trying to like settle somewhere else is always challenging, always difficult. I'm curious, like what made you like make those moves? Was it only career, or what were these interesting opportunities that made you kind of like travel around, or was that always the plan to do that?
No, I mean, I think it's been a mix of personal and professional choices, right? Professional usman say whether it's getting a degree or getting like working somewhere. Um, that a personal side, it's always been, and I think a lot of people feel the same way, right? Where you have family in Nepal, especially aging parents. I mean, there's always this pull, right? Even if we're happy or successful or in whatever, right? There's always this feeling about, am I not really spending time with my family? Is this the right decision? Should I explore what's in Nepal? Right? There's always this, I think, dilemma for a lot of people. Even for me, I think that was a big pull in terms of whether, going back to Nepal or trying to stay close enough to Nepal, Singapore, those ठाउँमा. So it's, it's all these choices. Ani अहिले आएर, as I build, the Great Nepali Diaspora, I'm using all these personal experiences as well, right? Because I've not just, left Nepal to study and work, but I've also returned. I've also sort of gone through that dilemma that a lot of people face and so on. So in a way, I'm really, as I build this community, I'm trying to use this experience and say, okay, how can we make things better for the diaspora? How can we, do things well for Nepal? That's the whole.
Yeah, and more power to you, more power to the diaspora. I'm sure this is only the beginning of where things are. And the relationships are yet to mature. The platforms are yet to mature. So it's very exciting where we are with diaspora for sure. I think this is a good segue taking us to talking a little bit more about diaspora. I know it's not been a long time since you've kind of like started putting together this community. I mean, and there's been so many active, not just participants, but also collaborations and businesses, I think, coming out of the diaspora. So where did this all start? Where was the vision of forming the Great Nepali Diaspora? Where did that begin?
Sure. एउटा disclaimer चाहिँ in general, I think it started 9 months ago. When I started at that time, it's easy to claim that I want, so that, I had this incredible vision, that I had everything, all the plans and everything. More than anything else, what I wanted is, I really felt like our diaspora was fragmented, that we don't really talk to each other. There were so many हाम्रो biases against each other that it was, really hurting us. So मेरो लागि, more than anything else, was, okay, हामीले, if we just let go of these biases, we can build something, right? And so for me, it was just about, at some point, was just about putting my ideas out there, social media, LinkedIn, and so on, in terms of, how I felt, as much as I love Nepal, I felt like हाम्रो identity, we're not really showcasing that. We're not really leveraging that. We're not professionally त्यो connectionsहरू भइरहेको छैन भनेर, होइन? अनि incredible हिसाबले चाहिँ मेरो post started resonating with a lot of people. So people started responding. People started saying, oh, I feel the same way, right? In terms of हामी नेपालीहरूको good and bad कुराहरू छ. Professionally, we need to really step up and all of it. So it's the organic हिसाबले भयो, right? In terms of the growth, the support, the encouragement. And I feel like your timing has been incredible as well, right? Because यो 2022 मा start गर्दाखेरि, it was, it was social media, it helped so much in terms of, spreading the word and त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ it, without a lot of crazy planning, भनौँ न, it sort of was very organic.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that's the power of social media, and like now in 2023, how easily like good ideas can spread and be and have more people involved in it, भनौँ न.
Of course.
9 months in this journey, what do you feel about where we are? What are the things you're excited about in the diaspora? I'm sure, like, like TGND does like a lot of multifaceted things. We're trying to get into various sectors, as you say, like trying to show like we as folks in the Nepali diaspora have domain expertise on like various fields, and we're trying to showcase a lot of that. Would love to like let our viewers know a little bit about that. What all things are happening, what things folks can look forward to be involved in, and all of that.
Sure. It is very exciting. It is very exciting. If I sit still and think 9 months where we've come, it's ekdamai incredible. And I think I'm so grateful because, जे कुरा पनि ideas start garna, it's not that hard, right? It's just that. But you never know if people like your idea, people support it, people follow that, and so on. And for me, I think the response has just been incredible, okay, right? What's also really, really exciting is traditionally, in general, bad ideas spread more than good ideas, right?
More so in social media.
Was on social media, right? Usually what goes viral is alikiti negative news, alikiti त्यो हुन्छ नि controversial, even fake news are so easy to spread, हैन? तर something that is again organic, there's no marketing push behind it, something that is a very simple idea, something that's a simple idea but not really a new idea as well, हैन? त्यो is that idea and that sort of thinking is cutting through the noise. But it's exciting, right? Because everybody is busy, everybody has a limited time. So the noise of social media and so much going on, good and bad, if something is cutting through the noise, it also means that maybe there's something behind it, हैन? So that's super exciting. In terms of how we're moving forward, the plan is to sort of go wide. So Nepaliharu that are all over the world doing different things, anywhere from undergrad students to retirees. We're trying to tap into that customer base, right? That membership base, and then according to different things, मान्छेहरु केमा interests, different domains and so on, we're sort of building these hubs. So we have, I think, 8 so far already, and we're sort of adding more, right? So just as an example, the entrepreneurs hub, public policy hub, young professionals hub, women's hub, and त्यो बिस्तारै बिस्तारै shape भइरहेछ कि, right? What's really exciting also is as we build this, people are raising their hand. People are saying, oh, यसमा म, this is where I'll contribute, right? I mean, just as an example, Subigya, yours sort of, you came in and said, okay, this is what मेरो expertise यसमा छ, and this is where I want to contribute my time, right? And you could have done that for any organization, any number of things, right? But for me, I think what's really exciting is people are saying, okay, मेरो limited time जुन छ, extra time from family and work or studies, but this is where I want to plug in my expertise, right? त्यो is such an incredible thing that's happening. So we're building out these hubs, and there's a lot of interest around hub for legal professionals, hub for medical professionals, and so on. So depending on the demand and everything, we're sort of building it out. And I think what's also different in general with TGND is this experimentation, right? Startups mata, this is very normal, but not outside startups, right? Startups mata, you say A/B testing garne, you sort of try out things, and if something fails, you leave it. But you test and fail and move forward. Okay, only TGND is a non-profit, we're sort of getting to do that, right? Where we say, okay, let's try it out. If it picks up, the data science program is like incredible. Our lead Sabin Pradhan is incredible, and he's doing a lot of amazing things. There's a lot of demand, so it's becoming its own thing, right? But if we try an idea and it sort of doesn't pick up, then we're completely fine with saying, okay, maybe it's got timing or maybe we need a more critical mass, like saying we have to wait for it. For people that want to join, there's a lot of different things happening. More than anything else, if you have a better idea, come tell us, right? We're here to listen, here to, shape this community together. So, yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for like kind of like making that platform, Kinani. I think there could be a lot of initiatives that you that's there out there in the world. But I think it also depends on what's the intent of it being formed. And like personally, like one of the reason I wanted to like be initiated was it seemed like a very, very pure intention in a way where we're trying to kind of like connect. There's a genuine problem of professional Nepalis abroad not being connected. And this is something that you say always, that we are good at having Momo parties and not a professional mentoring or like networking sessions. And which is very true. And it was such a breath of fresh air to kind of see that network being formed where it's professional Nepalese experts bringing together. And obviously, again, not for profit startup like Bhairapani, I think it's an opportunity for a lot of us to experiment some of these things, whether it's in content or otherwise. So thank you so much for like starting this platform more than anything.
No worries. I think त्यो plug and play जस्तो टाइपको चाहिँ I hadn't thought of it, but I think that's exciting. And for a lot of Nepalis, say, almost every Nepali wants to contribute, right? They want that. What was happening, right, is people didn't know how. Okay, but if you have a certain expertise, who do you reach out to? Can't need a plug in गर्ने like it's like a black hole in terms of that whole thing. Okay? Or you say what's exciting is at least their platforms so people can explore. People can say, okay, is this what I want to do? Or, maybe there's a different idea. Just the fact that we're allowing that thought process is exciting.
Yeah, no, definitely. And in the preparation for this podcast, what we had also tried to do was get some questions from our community, from our diaspora. And one of the big questions that a lot of people seem to have is, where do you find the energy to do so much? Kinani, obviously you have your normal professional life, you have a family, and you're doing this on the side, manumna almost. So where do you find the energy, Preeti, to do all of this and be involved in so many initiatives and events and so on?
Sure. One at this point, say that the diaspora program is actually taking up the most time out of everything else I do. Actually, what energizes me? A few things, right? I always say this, right? But for me, especially 9 months funny boy, like TGND is like my baby, right? It's something that more and more I'm passionate about. I do see a lot of potential in terms of, what we can build on top of this, right? Theo is exciting. So it's sort of that pushes me to, spend a lot of time, invest a lot of time, figure this out and so on, right? I keep on thinking, okay, I'm like, okay, I haven't spent any quality time with my friend, like family, or I'm just, obsessed with this, right? But I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing this because this is my baby, right? So why are other people contributing their time? Right? Just so you, right? So many others, right? You don't need to, in a way. You're not paid. I know there is. So for me, I think this burst of energies, it comes from knowing that मेरो thing bhai pani there must be something why people are also contributing, people are adding value to this, right? So, somebody that is just a volunteer, somebody that's outside this thing is doing it, is sort of has ownership, right? Which is exciting, right? That and they got Nepali networking, ownership, accountability, these kind of things, right? Why wouldn't I spend time on it? I think the domino effect जस्तै भइरहेछ कि where sort of I'm putting in the work that I also see other people putting in the work, and I think मेरो वरिपरि पनि I think that excites people, that I'm not just sitting here and doing nothing. People see me hustling, and I think त्यो ऊ भइरहेछ कि complementary भइरहेछ कि we're sort of त्यो energy is sort of के भन्छ transferring from one to another, okay, right? In terms of we see things are happening, right? Few months you see things are moving forward. We see like collaborations happening. We see the excitement. Okay? Only we're building on top of it. I think, right? In terms of it's I think keeping all of us warm. I think.
And I 100% agree. I think like the energy around a lot of initiatives and a lot of things that diaspora is doing, there definitely seems to be like a positive, exciting energy around. And it is definitely infectious. I think even in our podcast team, we have like recent graduates or like folks still kind of like working through their degrees and everything that bring in so much energy and passion into what they do, and it's amazing to kind of like be around that and work around that for sure. Among a lot of things, diaspora, are there like are there a couple of things that you're really excited by that's going to happen in the next few months, next year, that you could share with us today, or anything that you think would be helpful for more people to know about, anything like that?
Sure. Well, actually, you diaspora build गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I always thought of it as step 1 and step 2, okay, right? Just so step 1 is connecting the diaspora, right? People outside Nepal, and then step 2 would be connecting to Nepal. And the reason is, because the needs are so different, right? Nepal बाहिर भएको हामीहरुकोमा चाहिँ it's a little different, right? In terms of things we're looking for, things we need help with, and so on. So very distinct ऊ राखेको थियो. अनि अहिले चाहिँ I got to spend a couple of weeks in Nepal and so on. अनि त्यो what was exciting is step 1 is happening, right? And it's now in sort of going in its own motion. To people are connecting to the community. There's a lot of work happening. But the exciting thing ke bhaइरहेछ भने step 2 is also happening, right? अब finally, right? In terms of just so Nepalमा जाँदाखेरि I got to meet a lot of individuals, a lot of organizations that are doing a lot of incredible work. And now there's a little bit more clarity in terms of हामीले diasporaले कसरी connect, कसरी help गर्न सक्छ, right? That's always the thing, right? In terms of okay, हामी बाहिरको मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ once we're connected, how do we contribute to Nepal? Do we have tangible ways to do that? भनेर हैन. I mean, there's a couple of sort of words that I focus on in terms of all of this, right? You're as a collective, right? Because Nepali individual level मा जहिले पनि contribute गरिरहेछ के, right? It's not TGND नै आउनु पर्या थिएन, right? That people were contributing, whether कुनै startup लाई अलिअलि पैसा उ गर्नको लागि, some kind of knowledge sharing, there it was happening, हैन. What was not happening is the transparency थिएन के. So we didn't get to see, okay, अब अमेरिकामा बसेको यो मान्छेहरूले यसरी contribute गरिरहेको थियो, यो value ल्याइरहेको छ. This was the result. अब hopefully we get to see that, okay, the collective, हैन. And similarly in Nepal, instead of okay random हिसाबले कसलाई help गर्नु सट्टा, at least we are starting to know, okay, these are organizations that are relevant to हाम्रो यहाँको domain expertise. This is where we can connect mentors with. This is where we can connect your यहाँको technical expertise. At some point, this is where we can connect our investments with. भनेर त्यो is those dotted lines भन्छ नि, त्यो form. I think that's again super exciting, okay? Because त्यो was not clear so far. कसरी के को थ्रु गर्न मिल्छ अनि and there was a lot of, we always say about Nepalको context ma, policy level, government ko failure, all of it, right? Which are true. Tara now बिस्तारै हामीले we're figuring out ways to help the ecosystem there. And त्यो is so exciting.
Yeah, and I think the interesting part is, I mean, obviously, the TGND is not the first, not like foreign diaspora anywhere in the world has had. Like, there have been communities before, but I think what's interesting is the second part you mentioned, trying to connect diaspora with Nepal and people of Nepal, and kind of like doing, whether it's knowledge sharing or investments or anything like that, and making things grow and happen because of these networks. I think that's new, and it's definitely exciting to see that. And almost like what we see is these organizations almost being politicized more than anything. So what are some of your thoughts on these organizations?
Sure. एकदमै धेरै नेपाली अर्गनाइजेसन्सहरू चाहिँ I heard recently that न्युयोर्कमै पनि 100 and so on छ होइन नेपाली अर्गनाइजेसन अरू प्लेसेसमा त भइहाल्यो. And there, like you said, right, there's either location based or community based or different things. One sort of difference has been our focus on the professional aspect, right? Because for me, it doesn't matter if the other person is Baun or Chhetri or some other community. It doesn't matter, if they look like me or not, or if they, have an MBA or not, right? Or anything like that. For me, I think one sort of thing is being as inclusive as possible. And I think that's super important. And I think your identity of a Nepali, as we grow, we're realizing how much privilege is a part of our growing up. And the US context, a lot of it is based on race and everything, right? Nepal it's a lot about class and ethnicity, all of it, right? So for me, it's a Nepali is a Nepali is a Nepali, right? And all I'm interested about is the professional aspect of it, right? There is a lot of value in terms of the cultural side of things, the heritage side of things. And a lot of organizations are doing incredible work for it, right? I don't think we have to replicate what others are doing. We're looking at where the gaps are and trying to fill, right? Different chapters are okay. A lot of them are collaborating with other Nepali organizations there to host events and so on, which is amazing, right? And then we're hoping that this lack of mentorship, lack of guidance, lack of professional help, really provide garna sakecha, we can help with that, right? And vice versa in terms of that, Dasain Tihar manaउने, the cultural aspects, we can lean in on other organizations and do that. Orko difference has been that we're very non-political, right? I think it's been our ethos from day one, and we're sticking by it very, very much, right? And I keep saying this about it's not about yहाँको politics follow nagarne, Nepalको politics follow nagarne. Actually, as young people, you should be somewhat invested in terms of what happens, right? Because it affects all of us. I think the awareness and the ownership of what's happening politically is important. What I don't want is people to sort of bring that to our platform and divide us, right? I don't need anything dividing people, okay? Whether it's race, whether it's class, whether it's even a different industry, whatever, right? So to sort of conclude your question, Matt, is a lot of incredible Nepali organizations have been doing a lot of work, 10 plus years, also body, they've done so much work for the diaspora as well as in Nepal. We're not at all trying to compete. We're actually trying to collaborate with them and figure out what are some gaps in the market and trying to fill them. So
and yeah, I think that's definitely like what's exciting about diaspora is this inclusivity and trying to, if anything, if we're able to at least do something about people are understanding about class or their biases on class while we collaborate with people in Nepal. If we can only do something about that, I think it'll be a great success story for diaspora.
But I think that's one point that I recently realized is, right, and with diaspora bhandakeri, it's actually people that are from all parts of Nepal that have come out, right? So they actually have this sentimental value to different parts of Nepal. Okay? They're not just from Nepal, right? And that's also great, right? Because when we contribute to Nepal, it's not just going to be Kathmandu centric. It's going to be all the different provinces, all the different, because people sort of understand the needs from different provinces, from different parts of Nepal. And I think if we are able to plug that in, it's not just inclusive as a community, it's going to be inclusive even in terms of our contribution, right? Tio is without designing it like that, I think that's a natural way it's happening.
Yeah, no, 100%. And yeah, hopefully we get to see more projects connecting not just all Nepali from, as you said, like Nepalese from all across Nepal as well, because I think that's like Kathmandu Bandhan, that's where the need might be more, and then in cities and everything like that. Moving on and talking a little bit about obviously, like, there's diaspora, there's like things happening around these two countries. I wanted to focus a little bit on you and your story. So I know you've been someone who's been trying to go back to Nepal and like stay there, because I think it's very common for people from either like my age group or older to kind of like still want to go back to Nepal, and due to various reasons, whether it's personal or professional, but it seems the road is always difficult. So what has been your experience kind of like staying in Nepal, moving out, and how do you feel kind of like that worked out for you?
Actually, so Nepal twice moved right? Once undergrad finished and two more after finishing my MBA and working more for more years and so on. And the experiences were very different, actually, very drastically different, I think, right? While I say, I'll sort of share a little bit on the personal side. My dad passed away when I was in high school, right? So that's, obviously a big sort of loss in general in my life and everything. But my father-in-law, who health was always on the weaker usma थियो, and I felt like my future children should get to know not just my mom and so on, but at least one grandparent, one grandfather is important जस्तो लाग्थ्यो कि मलाई, right? And it's obviously an emotional sort of thing, but that was a big reason in terms of that is going to be an important thing भनेर. So I don't never regret that decision, that I, again, very sort of pulled by personal sort of choices and everything. In terms of the two moves, Matt, I think what was different is the planning or the conversation I had, before and during and so on, right? And I think that sort of is something a lot of us don't do, okay? Right? Moving to Nepal is more on the personal sort of pull नै हुन्छ धेरैको लागि, right? तर what we do, and I think it's a very cultural thing as well, we don't discuss the difficult conversations पहिले के, right? What does moving to Nepal mean in terms of a lifestyle, right? It means we're also used to living independently, alikiti free हिसाबले. Going back to Nepal in a joint family has its perks, but also has its challenges, right? And the society, the good and bad of it in terms of people always being there and so on. Like anything else, right? I mean, whether it's a project, kamma pani, when you look at all these nuances, when you plan for it, you don't get any surprises, right? For a lot of people, I think what happens is they think about this decision for a really long time. Did they debate about it and sort of, some people actually do move, right? That it's so difficult conversations. People don't do it, okay, in terms of what are some things that are that you want to negotiate on, and what are some things that you don't want to, okay, right? What is going to be your dynamics as you move back as a family? It's going to be different. There's layers of it, right, in terms of the family situations and so on. That if you plan better, you sort of have your life is better, right? Because you sort of deal with kind of things. So one is that I think just in terms of advice, whoever's thinking about it, I think don't delay these conversations. Okay, just as a family, you should have honest conversation in terms of what does moving back actually mean, right? Not just in terms of job situation and so on, but even in terms of living situation. What does that mean, and how can you prepare for it, right? One is that. Only two, I think that I'm realizing more and more as well, that you don't have to move, okay? Right? Because kati cases it's hard to move, right? It means uprooting everything you have. So what that means, you should make an intentional effort of opening up access and your networks and knowledge share garneko. You should be more intentional about it, right? Because kati times I think people can make a bigger impact by just staying where they are, that are actually doing something about it, okay? Doing something about really helping people. I think त्यो needs to happen, right? But it also means, how do you sort of let go of that guilt, right? So the guilt of, okay, am I, just wasting my life in the US or wherever, and I'm not really contributing to Nepal, or I'm not really spending time with family. The guilt you should let go. And I think 3 months, again, this your Nepalko trip sort of, I realized it more. I think there's a lot of potential for, I'll call it diaspora services, which means बाहिर भएको मान्छेहरू र त्यो फ्यामिलीको बिचमाको all these kind of feelings, all real problems that we're sort of facing, त्यो mitigate गर्न पनि I think there's a lot of business potential as well, right? In terms of how really care for when we can't move, when we can visit once or twice a year, how do we sort of take care of our families in the meantime and so on. So there's a lot that can be done.
For sure. It's definitely, like, I think interesting to hear more and more avenues being opened for folks who are not in Nepal to either contribute to Nepal or be involved in it. And I'm sure, like, a lot of what we do in diaspora also is aiding folks to do that in one way or the other, which is very exciting, definitely. Looking ahead, like, if everything goes well, like a typical 3 to 5 year window ahead, if everything goes well, what's the, I don't want to see the big vision, but in an ideal case scenario, where do you see diaspora going, and what do you see diaspora becoming in these next 3 to 5 years?
Wow. Well, in a way, it's already started. That I'm hoping diaspora plays a big role in terms of Nepalko policy, they can advocacy and so on. Really tangible ways what contribute, right? In terms of what can be done there, right? I think some of our audience know that we're doing this diaspora mapping survey, which is one of the most exciting things that's happening at TGND in terms of really mapping out Nepaliहरू कहाँ छ, कुन इन्डस्ट्रीमा छ, के गरिरहेछ, हैन? So if you think about a world map, we're sort of now seeing dots, right, in terms of Nepaliहरू कहाँ छन्, के छ भनेर. even like next 6 months, 1 year it'll be covered, right? It'll be lots of these pins all over the world and so on, which means that finally we'll get an accurate picture of our diaspora, र त्यसको strength, right? Which is so exciting, which means that हामी vague terms को सट्टामा very concrete हिसाबले कुरा गर्न सक्छौँ, right? And I think what I find really exciting is what we'll build on top of this, right? So, investment ko lagi, I think there's going to be a lot of exciting channels, different कुराहरुको लागि, startups देखि SMEs हरुको लागि चाहिँ I think there's a lot of potential for that. I also see a lot of collaboration in terms of different domains. Even academics, they can researchers, they can go lagi. Kasto huniwala cha bhane, or that's the hope, where it's going to be this one-stop shop. That's my hope, that whether people are in Nepal, people are sort of abroad, or sort of they're trying to crisscross in terms of coming back or going abroad, or whatever their needs are, right? People are able to say, okay, this is how, connecting here is going to really help me, whether I'm thinking about going abroad for studies, or I'm trying to come back to Nepal, or I'm trying to do some business or anything like that, right? I think the possibilities are endless. मेरो hope चाहिँ TGND becomes a sustainable organization. We actually not just grow exponentially, but we are able to sustain some of the things that we're trying to do. So even, in the next 5 years, TGND is still going to be there and going strong.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're already in that path, as you say, and it's only about growing and reaching more people and collaborating to create meaningful impact, for sure. Preeti, one of the questions that we received is, now, like, obviously you've lived in Nepal a few times. Is that something that you're planning to do, like after retirement, maybe pack your bags and go to Nepal, or is that still in the cards, moving back to Nepal someday?
It's the part I find funny is the retirement. The kind of person I am, I can't sit still, right? I think it's a problem. Can't, right? Even on weekends, I have a hard time just, doing any, like, just relaxing, chilling. It's like, I have to really, force myself to do that. So retirement, I don't know, right, in terms of what that means and so on, how it shapes up. That I do want to spend more and more time with Nepal, and I think that's the intention, just even going forward. Even family aspect, yes, I do want to do that, in terms of whether it's my mom or my mother-in-law, some time spend gardening, and in terms of really, the seeds of collaboration that are happening, more and more. How do I make it concrete? How do I make sure that people that want to contribute, people that need help are connected, and so on. So I think moving back, I don't know, right, in terms of what form it takes, that I do see myself spending a lot of time in Nepal going forward.
Hey, and that's exciting in itself. Like, I think, like, in our generation, like, it's so unlike to have like one job, one career, and then spend your entire life in that job. Like, on average, people will have multiple jobs, especially with like evolving technology, AI. It's only going to be more rapid. So I think the whole concept of retirement might definitely be a little different as we grow older. Even personally, like, even I keep looking for these opportunities to spend more time in Nepal. Apart from like personal reasons, I think, Nepali, we are also slightly more weirdly patriotic in a way. Like, there's a very interesting patriotism that I see amongst most Nepali too.
Exactly.
The want to contribute something to the country. I think that,
which is so nice as well, right? Tara, यसैमा if we are able to सबैजना like people that want to contribute like this आफूले search गर्नु सट्टा चाहिँ if we just place something where like even like people that go to meet family, if they have a chance to contribute, whether it's like at least a session conduct गर्ने they can something like that, like small cases ma scale matter, it actually adds up, right? That's why I think collective is so important, that one person at a time, that a lot of people visiting, a lot of people to sansano level ma pani, it sort of adds up so much. Means so much Nepalko context ma. So
100%. Preeti, like I can keep asking these questions and having this conversation with you, because like there's so many things I'd love for our audience to know more about and what you've been thinking about it. But before we wrap this episode up, any last message for the community or anything you'd like to share?
Number one, I think I say this a lot, that I'm so grateful to everybody, right? I think you're grateful huna चाहिँ it's अमेरिकामै सिकाए जस्तो लाग्छ to not just be grateful to जहाँ पनि भइन्थ्यो, US आएदेखि चाहिँ you also express your gratefulness, right? अनि तर यो community जसरी shaping up, जसरी भइरहेछ, जस्तो exciting छ हैन, त्यो चाहिँ it's not just me, right? It's not just me, it's not just you, Subigya, it's a lot of people that are sort of showing up, हैन, त्यो is really, really exciting. So more than anything else, I think I'm grateful सबैजना मान्छेहरुको लागि. And number two चाहिँ I also want to request people, right, to keep on showing up, keep on like sending feedback, saying okay यसरी गर्न मिल्छ, यसरी shape गर्न मिल्छ भनेर. This is our community, right? Preeti Adhikari is just somebody that is a part of it, right? I think the exciting thing is that we have empowered champions once, and an army of it. We're building that, which means every Nepali is a part of this, right? So I encourage everybody to just keep coming with ideas, help us shape this community. And I think त्यो गर्यो भने actually 3 to 5 years ma will get somewhere incredible.
100%. And before we wrap up, I'm sure there will be people who might like catch on a clip of this episode or watch us on different channels. Where would be the best place for people to either join Diaspora or at least get involved in the conversations? Where should they head out?
Sure. I mean, I think most updated say LinkedIn, our LinkedIn page, we'll share a link to that. That even on our website, you can get a lot of information. And if people want to get involved, they can reach out to me, or we have 40 chapters around the world. They can reach out to any of the chapter leaders and get involved.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Preeti, for agreeing to be on the other side of this podcast and sharing about your story. I was always interested to kind of like hear from you amongst our other guests, Kinani. A lot of things that Diaspora has been doing has been your brainchild more than anything else. So firstly, thank you so much for organizing everything and making this platform possible. And yeah, hopefully there's more exciting stuff happening in Diaspora in the future.
Perfect. No, thank you, Subigya. I think I'm grateful. Thank you. Because it's great to be able to share things that are in my head. That I think, in the first 9 months, we're sort of started building the foundation. That I think the next 9 months and forward are going to be so exciting for our community.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, that is all we had from this episodes of TGND Beats. Please keep liking, commenting, subscribing on all our channels. Our full episodes are on YouTube and Spotify, but you'll be able to find us anywhere across your local social media channel. So yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much, Preeti.
Thanks, Subigya. Bye.